Our guest in today's episode in the Thriving in Construction, the podcast, plays a really crucial role in planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing out projects. She is also responsible for the entire project scope, the project team, resources, the project budget, and the success or failure of a construction project. Please help me welcome our today's guest, Gladys Artunedo, Lunacon's Construction Project Manager. Welcome, Gladys, to the Thriving in Construction, the podcast. Hi, Gladys. How are you? Welcome to the Thriving in Construction, the podcast. So we're here, and I want to thank you for coming here. We're here looking to inspire women into coming into construction. How do you get into the construction space?
Well, I have an architecture degree from Cuba. From a very young age, I knew that's what I wanted to do because I love creating spaces. So I studied architecture in the University of Havana. And that's what I've done basically all my life. First in Cuba and now here, even though I don't have a license, I've been working in construction for 10 years.
10 years. Wow. So you're a project manager at Lunacon? What is it like to be a project manager?
First, working in Lunacon, it's been a bless to me. Being a project manager allows me to combine my two passions, which is the love I have for construction and the love I have for numbers. I really love numbers. I also have a degree in business administration from Florida International University. So buildings and numbers are my passion, and what can I ask more than do what I love?
With construction, with project management.
Mm-hmm.
But before you became a project manager, what were you doing before being a project manager?
Yeah, my beginnings in construction here were in estimating.
Estimating.
Yeah. I began doing estimates for a construction company, and at a later time, they started to offer me to go to the field and supervise the jobs. And that's how I changed from the office to the field.
What was like to go from the office to the field?
It was like, this is what I like, this is what I love.
Really?
Yeah. I really love the field. I really love to see how you start building a thing until you say done. That gives you a sense of accomplishment that you cannot put into words. So that's what I like.
Awesome. So what do you think about, you come into the field, you're a woman, and you are, when you went to the field, what was your role?
Field supervisor.
Supervisor. And you were supervising who?
The workers.
The field workers?
Yes.
And so were they women or men?
Men.
All of them?
All men.
And what was that like?
Well, it hasn't been that hard, but you always encounter barriers when they see you, they feel like you're not able to do what you have to do. Let's see what she can do. She's not going to make it. But at a later time, when they see that you're not there to take their jobs from them, but to help them to do better their work, they learn to respect you and appreciate it.
So you overcame the barrier by helping them be better. And how do you feel when you face that challenge? I'm the only woman here.
It is challenging. It is. But I think women can bring to the construction industry positive attributes that maybe men can. We can bring empathy. We can bring sensitivity. We can bring a sense of teamwork that sometimes men doesn't have. So whenever you can bring what you have to give, what you have to share, the outcome has to be good.
Tell me a moment where you have applied empathy in construction.
Well, for example, we all make mistakes during our lives. It doesn't have to do only at work. But if you look for the solution and not the problem and not pointing fingers, so you look for the result, you're showing empathy.
That's beautiful. So do you find that men are able to be empathetic, or do you think they focus more on the problem and talk about the problem?
They focus on the problem and they try to point fingers and they yell at everyone, and that doesn't take you anywhere. Forget about the problem, look for the solution.
And that's so right.
And
that is
move
so right.
forward.
That is so right. That is very, very, very wise. And now when you decide to go into architecture, how long ago was that? How old were you?
I'll be 50 next week.
Oh, congratulations. I have to do a party.
So I was 18.
18?
Yeah.
And what gets you to be an architecture? What did you think? Who told you? What was happening?
Since I was little, not a little, but when I enter a space, I don't look at it as it is. I always start changing spaces for the purposes of functionality. So very early I knew that's what I wanted to do. Create spaces, functional spaces.
Functional spaces. So would you say that's your passion?
Yes.
And now I'm curious, because a lot of times we are, as project manager in your role now, which is not really the role of an architect, you get to be in a project, you make decisions on a project with a set of drawings that has been already designed by someone else. And maybe you see a drawing and you're saying this is not functional.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that make you feel when there's not much you can do, it's already done, the budget has been set for this contract in this way, what can you do?
I try to find a way of getting a better result, share my thoughts about it, and see, I know it's not my business for saying in a way, but I share my thoughts and maybe that can help.
And it has been sometimes good?
It's been good, yes.
So what would you tell a woman that wants to start in this space? What would you tell a girl that is maybe 18 years old or 16 or 17 and is thinking about, what should I study?
I would say anyone, follow your dreams. It doesn't matter what is being said about it. So find the truth, your truth, and never stop dreaming. If that's what you like, we only have one life. So it's not worth it to waste it in things that you don't like or you don't love. So follow your passions and you'll find your own truth.
That's true. That is so beautiful. Do you think men are superior than women?
No.
Do you think women are superior than men?
I think we're kind of equal, but sometimes women can do more things at the same time, things that men cannot do. But no, they're not superior at all. If someone's superior, we are superior.
If you have to choose, you're going to choose women, right?
Of course.
And what sense do you think, women can do more or multiple things at the same time than women? For example,
in life we have two works. They only have one. They go to work from 8 to 5 or whatever time they go to work, and that's it. And when we work out of home, then we start another job. Raising child, taking care of family, of household. So for life, we have two jobs. They only have one.
And we don't want to generalize, right? Because
No.
I've known men that are single parents, and they do a really good job. So this is not about, but there's most of the time,
I would say
for
that's
a
the
woman,
rule. Yes.
yeah, you want to be a mother, and you want to be a wife, a good wife, and you want to have your marriage, and you want to have a nice house, a clean house, and friends and family, the mother, this and the other, and you want to do good at work.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that? What 3 things do we need to keep in mind if there's a woman in construction, and she decides to have a family and kids, and what in your opinion is required, or we got to keep in mind in order to be successful in all the roles that we decide to embark?
I would say the key is a perfect balance between work and life. You don't want to work at a point that doesn't allow you to take care of your family, and vice versa. So finding the exact point when you find a balance between your work and your life, that's what allows you to grow in life.
But how do you do that? I mean,
I guess I'll do it like every other woman. I go to work. I kind of don't think about what's happening at home when I'm working. So while I at work, that's my focus. That's what I think. That's what I do. And I don't think about home when I am at work. I'm the same. When I get home, behind the door is work. I'll take it again next morning. Of course, if I had to do anything special, I don't mind, but that's the time for my family. That's the time for my life, because we need to take care of us as well to be able to take care of others. So finding the right balance between your work and your life.
And how do you take care of you?
Doing the things I like to do. I love music.
Really?
Yes, I do. I don't conceive a world without music. So music has to be surrounding me every day. I love the sea whenever I can.
The ocean?
Yeah, the ocean, yes.
So you play an instrument?
No.
You listen to it?
I used to play piano, but I didn't install it. I forgot it. I won't be able to do it right now. So when I was like 15. But I love music, yes. I like my silence. I love my silence. I love my quietness. Sometimes I need my space without my husband, without my son. So I'm able to recharge.
How do you do that? You get home and you tell them, hey, I don't want to.
No.
You go to the bathroom?
No. I only, without they noticing, I find my place for a little bit to do what I want, what I love.
And when you're in that quiet space, what do you do?
I listen to music. Sometimes I meditate, but I do it in the mornings. I also work out in the mornings, not because it's not that about fitness, but because that gives me the energy I need to begin the day. So working out helps me to get energy, so I work out in the mornings. And I split between working out and meditate. And when I get home at night, what I need more is quietness, music, relaxing.
I love it. And how do you motivate yourself?
I always say, if there's at least one person in the world that can do something, I can do it. So I don't put barriers for myself. I might not be able to do it at first, but I'll try. And if, as I told you, if there's someone that can,
you can.
I can.
And who was your biggest motivator when you were growing up? Who inspired you, or along your life, in your 50 years? Who has inspired you the most?
Maybe my dad. This is something you might not know. I don't think you know, but my biological mother died when I was 3.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
her sister raised me. She's my mom. She's all I know. She's my mom. I don't even remember my real mom.
Oh.
So my dad was, but he wasn't. It wasn't like a mom and dad and sister and like a family. He was around, but he didn't live with me full time. But I always. He was always my idol.
Role model.
Yeah.
And how did he inspire you? What did he do that inspired you? What is it that you learned from him? Or
I actually did something that he also did. He graduated from university when he was 40-something. So I got here when I was 40. I already had a degree from Cuba, but I started studying in university again, and I graduated at 47, 46.
So you came here as an immigrant around 40, and you went back to school.
Yes.
In the U.S.
Yes.
Wow, you were like the oldest one in the group, or were you average people?
I think actually I did my degree fully online, because at that time I worked at a company as a superintendent. I used to work more than 60 hours a week, so I couldn't find time to go physically in person to campus. So I started fully online, the whole career online.
And how did you do that?
It was hard, but it was possible. So in the same extent that I say, if someone can do it, I can do it, I always say, if I did it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, and then what do you think are the biggest challenges that a woman can face in construction, or anybody in this industry? What are the biggest challenges?
I think the biggest challenge, or the biggest hurdle the industry has to overcome, is to create a culture where males can see us as equal. So,
and how do you think we can do that?
Showing that we can be able to do at least the same, sometimes better.
So you think the responsibility to create a culture, very well said, that men can see women as equal is our responsibility?
Yeah, it's our responsibility. I think it's everyone's responsibility. It's our responsibility to take our place. It's the owner's responsibility to create workplaces where men and women are treated equally.
Gladys, very wise comment. You say that for the industry to change, we need to create a culture where men see women as equal. And so how do you do that? How do we create a culture where men see women as equal? How do we create that culture, and who should take charge of that? What you mentioned that it should be everyone's responsibility. But if you had the opportunity to create the change, how would you do it?
I would, let's say, I would be a company owner. To me, it's not about gender, it's about performance and results. So that's what I said, it's everyone's responsibility. It's not only ours, because employers, owners, men, women, all levels had to realize that it's not about gender. Actually, when you have a workplace gender diverse, you have a lot of ideas, points of view that can contribute to a better outcome. Having a not even gender diverse, but a diverse workplace is better than having a male workplace.
Yes, I totally agree. Now, what needs to happen in order for this change to start happening? What would you do if you have the possibility to create this change yourself? How would what would you do first?
I think women in general have to get rid of the idea that this is not our place or it's not a place for us. There's a space for everyone under the sun, so we can do as men can do wherever we are. So we have to get rid of the idea that we don't belong here. We do belong where you can do your best.
So it's a belief, right? And a belief, and when we have a belief about something, a limiting belief, we don't take the first step. And so we have to do a good job at helping to remove the limiting belief that construction is not for a woman, it's not a space for women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is not the men's responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility, right? That's what you're saying. And I think I agree with that. Yeah, thank you for that. So now, what's in it for you? What is the next, 10 years of your life in construction?
My next 10 years, I'm just beginning. So my next 10 years could be maybe I'm running a construction company. Maybe I'm giving speeches for women in construction. Maybe I don't know where life is gonna take me, but what I know is that this is just a beginning.
50 years from now, you're 100 years old. What do you want to see accomplished for sure? What's the end for you? Not the end, because we're a soul and we're gonna transform and we're gonna evolve. But what is it that you want to make sure that happens for you?
What would make me feel really good is that I left a wood footprint in my loved ones. After that, I can live.
And what needs to happen for you to feel that you left a good footprint in your loved ones?
For example, when my son can make a decision and say, this is what my mom taught me, and that's what she told me to do, and he's doing right, that's enough for me.
That makes you feel good.
Good.
And what has construction done for you personally, and also for your loved ones?
I think somehow they admire the effort I put in my work. I live with men. My son is a boy. So I don't have daughters, so they also see a woman in construction, and they might think at the beginning, for example, my son at the beginning could think, oh, maybe my mom could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, but I don't think a boy thinks naturally my mom is an architect or an engineer. That's not a woman profession by nature.
So do you think your son, when he has a daughter, do you think he's going to discourage her to be in construction, and he's going to... So what is he going to tell her her daughter?
Do like your grandma.
So you're already changing the perspective,
yeah,
right? By
at least from home, yes.
Your example, yeah. One person at a time.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge so far in this industry?
The biggest challenge was there was a place I worked at and I didn't feel good. It was really, really tough.
Tough.
Yeah, tough. But I didn't give up.
And let's talk about that, because construction can be an environment that could be toxic, could be, there's a reason why it's the industry along with mining that has the highest rate of suicide. Why do you think construction has highest rate of suicide?
It might be for the belief that you have to be tough, aggressive, rude to rule something in construction. So I think it might be that. But as I said, we as women can bring a lot of difference to construction. You don't have to yell at anyone to get a result. So it doesn't have to be like that.
I agree. And why do you think there's a lot of people in construction that go into alcohol and drugs and smoking?
I think basically it's a stressful environment. You have to meet deadlines. You encounter a lot of difficulties in the way. So sometimes it can be a lot stressful, and maybe that's the way some people takes alcohol as a way getting rid of the stress.
And if you can change that, what could you do? What 3 things could we do to help the industry evolve from being so cutthroat and unforgiving and not empathetic? What 3 things could we do? Or in other words, what can we do to bring empathy into construction?
As I said, when you look for a result, which I think that's what we all should focus on, because we're working because we are supposed to give a result to someone. So that's your main focus. That's what should drive you in your way. So you're gonna find difficulties on the way, but let them pass. Move forward.
But you were saying that you were in a company that was very toxic.
Yeah,
it was
toxic.
So you had the focus on finishing and delivering the outcome, and you still didn't feel good. So what caused that? What caused that you felt the way you felt in this place?
The environment, they were toxic. Their mindset was, you're in construction, okay, you're a woman, but you're surrounded by men. This is how we are here. We yell, we throw up things, we fire people. So I didn't like that. But at the same time, I love what I do, and I wanted to see the result. I wanted to see the building done. So I didn't give up.
Thank you for watching Thriving in Construction, the podcast with Patricia Bonilla. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. If you have any suggestions or any related topics you would like us to tackle in our future episodes, feel free to comment down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week here in Thriving in Construction, the podcast.